Wait, do you ever get disappointed when you're showing someone something for the first time and you really want them to get it? And
No,
they
not
don't?
at all. I think
Yes.
Oh.
Matt knew exactly where I was
Absolutely.
going with that question.
I'm clearly an Eeyore.
I'm probably Rue.
I'm a Christopher Robin with a Pooh Rising.
And then I get in a canoe and I'm like, Clairs don't like canoes.
No, they don't.
I'm afraid of this lake.
That's exactly what it was.
Ow.
It was a beautiful moment in our friendship. I was
literally in the middle of getting hers up and down the
Pathetic.
stairs. Ow. I was like, I'm trying to get my hair done. I'm like,
I don't think that's an accurate representation of my owl.
well, you were in such pain you couldn't see clearly. So,
Trauma.
Thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast. I'm Matt Young. I'm a theater educator and a parent. And ever since I lost my father to cancer, I have been mildly obsessed with death. This is my last will and testament. Neil deGrasse Tyson once said, "We're all connected, to each other biologically, to the earth chemically, to the universe physically." That's right, this week's episode is all about connections. This week, Claire and I are joined by our friend Lynnette Victoria. Lynnette joins us for a deep discussion on connections and growing your tribe and all the other tangents that Claire and I love to go on. So I hope you enjoy the episode. Yeah, you just speak right into that microphone. As I'm looking and checking up the levels. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so you may...
Fourth.
A fourth? There's a fourth mic?
You said you may, and I said fourth because today is
May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I'm with two un-Star Wars people at the moment.
Did you say un-Star Wars people?
Yeah, for the most part.
That
right?
that like
Are you
implies
offended?
an action to take. Un-Star Wars.
Yes, you've been un-Star Wars. Well, I throw a lot of Claire.
Un-Star Wars. Sorry.
Hi, Claire is here with me. It's Matt, and then we have a special guest as well. Claire and I are welcoming our friend Lynnette.
Hello.
Hi, Lynnette.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Are you
Thanks
a
for
star-
inviting me in.
What? Say that again?
Thanks for inviting me in.
Oh, of course.
Are you going to be able to discern who's talking when you're listening? Like, don't she and I have kind of the same voice? Not we don't. I know we don't. But what if we do when we're rolling?
Oh, I think everybody's going to be able to tell the difference just based upon your opinions. That's a different laugh than yours, for sure.
That is true.
You know?
Should I announce
like.
that
This is
it's
gonna be
Claire
interesting.
talking before I say it?
I think that would become very, very
wow,
annoying.
can you imagine Lynnette talking? Lynnette laughed.
Claire, I would forget instantly.
Why do you think an
Reading a
audience can't?
script out loud.
Why do you think an audience can't tell the difference between two female voices?
No, not two female voices, just our two female voices.
You think? You think we saw a lot?
I don't think we do, but I just had
But
this
you're
thought
worried about it.
5 seconds ago.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll get to Star Wars later and stuff like that. You two went to the same college, didn't you?
Yes,
We
we
did.
did. We
Did-
can't figure out how we were related there, though. But I know we were.
Thank God it's not just me. I honestly cannot remember. It had to have been one of the Did you major in English?
Yeah.
Yeah, then it had to be one of the multitude of
I'm-
requisites we had to.
I'm misremembering seeing her in every scenario.
Like every memory you have, now Lynnette just pops up in it.
Well, I'm like, I definitely saw her on stage singing in an a cappella group. And she's like, no,
I'm so sorry.
She wasn't.
Wait.
Yeah.
No,
Wait.
I would have been
Wait.
singing, yes, but I'm hoping you weren't there.
Wait.
Wait, you were in a group, right?
Yeah.
Wait.
Okay, then yes, I did see you in there.
Wait.
Why?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just? Should we
Wait.
start over?
Why?
Should we cut? Should we cut this?
Lynnette,
No.
you were in an a cappella group?
No, it wasn't an a cappella group. To
Okay.
be specific, it was a glee club.
Oh. Okay,
I
so
think I
you
saw
guys
that
had
then.
you had background music and stuff like that?
Yes, we did, and I did the choreography for them for the first year.
That's
and
so
a half.
cool.
And I also sang. So anyway, how are you guys doing?
Good. Follow up question. I didn't know that you sang.
Yes.
That comes as a bit of a revelation to me because I feel like, and I may have this may not be a fair assumption, but that you had a little bit of disdain for the musical genre.
I do. I'm not a big fan of experiencing it. I mean, when people really know what they're doing, it's a lovely experience. When
Professionals?
Right.
Okay.
When people don't know what they're doing, it's a little bit excruciating.
Musicals and singing are different.
Right.
She could like singing, but not want to be in a musical. I totally understand that.
Yeah. I just.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just wondering whose side you're on. Now I know.
I'm on
Now
the
I
side
know.
of reason.
I can't even tell who you are anymore. Is that Claire talking? No, that's fascinating to me. So, did you guys graduate the same year?
What year did you graduate, Claire?
2011.
Okay. 12.
Okay.
I think that I have a memory that we were in some of the same English classes. And the only way I know this is because when I saw Lynn perform in The Last Days of Judas Iscariot, round 1, I was like, I recognize that girl and I don't know how, because I didn't remember seeing you in community theater. And then I thought you and I made the connection that we went to UConn together, or I figured it out on the internet or whatever. But since then, I haven't been able to, as we have tried, to determine exactly what class we were in, which we can't figure it out. The point is that...
Did you take Shakespeare with Semenza?
I took Shakespeare with Elizabeth Hart.
Did you ever work for the Long River Review?
Yes, I did. But I don't think that was us. I did it only 1 year.
Did you have to take that awful grammar course your senior year?
Yes.
With that guy?
That weird, the claymation man?
I don't know, but he was a bit odd.
He was
very
old.
Did
excited
he
about
move
grammar.
like a claymation, or was he into claymation?
I think he looked like a claymation
Okay.
person.
Okay.
He was old.
Did you take religion as literature?
No.
Oh, it was so cool. I don't know either.
Did we take Italian together?
I did do Italian.
With a woman who only spoke Italian?
Melissa Masterson.
That is
or Melinda.
Such an un-Italian name, it
Don't
feels
remember
like.
her
I
name at
know.
all.
Yeah.
We might have to do this later, because I probably could tell you every class I took and tell you every professor who I had. Did you ever have Jonathan Huffstadter?
Wow.
He was my my counselor.
He was? Oh, I'm so jealous.
Oh.
He's so
Well,
cool.
what's interesting, though?
Did you take his English class?
Okay.
Sorry.
No. Keep going.
So maybe it was that one. I don't remember the title of the one that we were doing, though.
It's like American literature.
Right, yeah.
We read The Man Who Was Thursday.
Yes.
The man who was what?
That might have been it. I don't remember you in that classroom, though.
Well, I was very quiet and felt very unprepared for all of the literature that we were reading, so I probably made sure that I was invisible.
Did you read it?
Yes, I liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm. It was a good
So you
class.
read and you hid. I hid because I didn't read, but I'm dyslexic, so
Yeah, you
I
wouldn't
wear
have been a
it
good English
proudly
major.
now.
No, that was a good class, but I don't remember you in that class.
Maybe we're just different periods, but the same professor.
What's really interesting is that you guys are going through all of this past stuff, but I feel like moving forward, and our topic kind of covers it, is you're going to have all of these new memories. You're going to make like new stuff because you guys are like connecting.
Well, we're actually going out to dinner tomorrow night. We're probably going to have this conversation again.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to bring a notebook. And write
Yeah,
down-
so great.
Your homework tonight is, this is Lynnette speaking, to write down all of your classes from college and bring it tomorrow and we can compare.
I would like seating charts as well.
I could probably tell you where I sat too in every class.
That's
It's bizarre.
Tell me who the annoying kid in class was. Sorry, Matt.
That's all right. That's an amazing memory. So today we're talking about like connection, growing your tribe, and stuff like that. So usually we like to start off with a definition. So I went with connection first. The term connection generally refers to the relationship or link between two or more entities, objects, or concepts. Its specific meaning can vary depending on the context. General context, a relationship or association between people, objects, or ideas. Technology, we don't really care about that. Physics, electrical engineering, we don't really care about that. We don't care about transportation
Speak for
either.
yourself.
Well, I'm sorry. Do you want me to go back to physics
It's
and
okay.
electronical engineering?
I'll look at it later.
Okay, good. Notes you can bring to dinner. Last time I went out to dinner with Lynnette, I got her sick.
Yep.
I gave her COVID.
did.
That's what we figured out. There's no way if you got sick
Doesn't
after
that
May.
sound so scandalous?
I
gave
know,
her
right?
COVID.
I gave her COVID.
Yeah, it does.
It was the calamari. That's what don't
calamari
order.
did it.
It's because we shared it.
It was supposed to be spicy and it wasn't. Psychological or personal relationships, a bond or sense understanding between two individuals. And then the other thing I looked up was the idea of growing your tribe, which is a metaphorical phrase that refers to the expanding your community, audience, or followers, whether in a personal, professional, or business context. It emphasizes building a loyal, engaged group of people who share common interests, values, and goals. So it's about building relationships and engagement and authenticity and consistency. And those are the things that we're kind of focused on now. I, and anybody who's listened to this podcast, know that I have two clear acts in my life. And the intermission was when my father died, because so many of my connections that I have in my life now didn't know me back then. And the few that did, I'm not really friendly with anymore.
But your life is like a Shakespeare play, right? It's got multiple acts. Because
thank you.
I'm sorry, like that was intermission after. I mean, okay, no, I don't think that
That's
there was
That's the modern day intermission where we put it. We put it in between the acts, because you're not going to do what is it? 4 intermissions.
No, you're not. So, but that I think was Act 1 for you, or maybe Act 1 was.
My goodness!
Okay,
wow.
I'm sorry. I don't really.
No. Go ahead.
Might have been
Continue.
Act 2, but I think the next act for you was post dad death to post divorce.
I think you're absolutely right. But the first big transition, obviously you. So interesting that we're talking about the fact that you guys go to college. That's kind of like the first real shift in tribes. Like you have your high school friends or your community or whatever it is, and then everybody goes for the most part to different colleges. My best friend ended up going to my college after a year post grad school, so we were kind of together, but we did very different things. He wasn't like a theater person. But you have to grow your tribe at college, you know? Being in the theater and stuff like that, I had that tribe, the ones that I performed with, and then I had my friends back at the dorm who were more like athletic, and we were into drugs and drinking and stuff like that. It felt like it. It felt like it.
I don't think we should talk about that here.
You don't think so? We used to take a recycling bin and pour like bottles of grain alcohol in it, and then Kool-Aid. And then bring it down to the beach. And
that's not drugs, though.
That's
like
what that tribe would do. Well, it led to a lot of marijuana back when it was hard to get.
It's so funny how, like, and I see this kind of thing on Instagram memes, too. Like, the fact that today we're so concerned about, like, drinking water out of plastic water bottles now. But back then in college, we would literally drink grain alcohol out of garbage cans. And that was fine.
Yeah.
No problems there.
That's yeah, we just ate dirt, I think, at times too.
But our bodies were so resilient.
All of my kids, my eldest, all of the clothes that we got him, everything was washed before we put it on him. We were like, oh, we've got to make sure that we take all the starch and the chemicals off of the stuff. And oh my God, my parents put me in the back of a Datsun. Not even a Nissan. Before Nissan was Nissan, it was a Datsun. I was a hatchback, like the hatchback of a car. That was my car seat back then. So I was safe, right?
Yeah.
Maybe bumped my head 6 or
You're
7,
okay
8
now.
times.
Right?
What was the question?
You're okay now, right?
Clearly no side effects.
What was the question?
Okay.
That was a nice double. Jinx.
How do people? Okay, question.
Yes.
So, like, when I think back on my life about growing my tribes, plural, because I feel like my tribe has changed.
And with a Z, you made it cool.
Is it? Because I was thinking about like my subconscious tribe growing, and then my not subconscious, unconscious versus conscious. Like, meaning, I don't really remember a time in my life that I was like, okay, I'm going to start growing a tribe. And then I did it. And I was like trying to collect people. I think it just happened naturally when I would make life changes. And then maybe I just became more adapt to whatever situation I was in, and then I would change as a person, and then that would attract people, and then those people became part of my tribe. But then the tribe would shift when this person would date that person, and then we weren't really friends with them anymore, or something bad would happen with this person, and then you're like, oh, okay, I gotta switch my tribe.
If we look at it as like decades, that sounds it sounds very much like a 20s, the 20s tribe.
Okay, yeah.
Where I
don't know. I feel like I had different. I mean, I'm gonna call them friend groups. Tribe to me sounds a little bit more like I don't know. When I think of the word tribe, I obviously think of the Native Americans, and I think about like rituals, and I think of the color brown, which sounds terrible. I can't believe we said that, but like earthy brown. Also, I'm going to stop.
Of the earth is what I think you were saying.
Which yes. Oh yeah, of course. And I also think about how the people. The constant friends that were really, really important to me at the time, those people are still in my life, but they're not people who are as permanent. Like I don't talk to them every day. Maybe I'll see them once in a blue moon.
A little bit of satellites. They'll come around every once in a while. And you don't have any ill will towards them, but they're not part of your everyday, I want to say survival, but I don't know if it works. Look, we have it at some people. We have it at work, and that's different than obviously home. Like I have only certain people at work that I rely on for comfort and shit talking and all of that.
And I don't know
stuff.
Who those people are. Like I don't know your work people.
You don't know.
Which is weird to think that like I feel like I know. I've known you well for a couple of years now, and I also know a bunch of your friends because we have mutual friends, but then you have your work friends, and I'm like, who the fuck are those people?
Yeah. I could invite them to a party, and you'd be like, why are there strangers here? Mm-hmm. There wouldn't be a lot of them, because I don't trust a lot of them, but some.
I don't know. I came at it a little differently. I think it's just because I didn't really have that so much. Like the natural friends, depending on the chapter that you're in thing.
Yes.
I had that in middle school, and I had that in high school, and it's kind of ended in college, which had a lot to do with how I interacted with people. I really just kind of like closed up and didn't trust people enough to let them into my circle.
Was there, I don't mean to interrupt, but was there an event that caused that closing off? Was there I don't know, betrayal? Was there something that shifted, or was it the environment that caused you to be a little bit more
the environment? Yes, it was a great big school, that I wasn't familiar with, and the makeup of the school was very different. I came from a very diverse background. It's not the situation I found myself in when I first went to college. And I had the group of people that I knew and I was very close with in high school. So many of us transferred to the same college. Okay. And then kind of scattered within the college. And some friendships broke at that time too. And I honestly, it was just a little kid in a great big world thing. I really didn't know how to adjust to it. Yeah. So when I think about tribes now, it's so intentional for me. Like our hanging out. Now I don't just want to let someone pass if I think I might have a connection with them. Yeah. Now it's like very much like I am going to make an effort to make this happen.
Well, it's being proactive instead of being passive. I think like what Claire was saying earlier was there are times in our lives where being passive just works out. But
it's so easy when you're in school, isn't it?
Right. But isn't it so much? It feels so much more important to be intentional about it, to be proactive in it. I feel like at this point in my life, even like after divorce, I think there was probably a little bit of desperation because I had been living in a world where if I did theater and stuff like that, I had theater friends, but it was like on the fringe, and my social life outside of that was what was surrounded around my ex's friends and things like that. Mm. And I felt like I had to, and not that it was all her fault. I certainly had fault in it by not either wanting to bring my friends into that circle or being mad that it wasn't my friends, or just being mad that I didn't have lifelong friends. at that point in my life where it made sense to all hang out. My ex didn't really get along with Rachel's ex because she's a difficult human being. Not my ex.
Which one? Oh, okay.
Rachel's ex. And so, it didn't have that didn't happen and whatever. And there was also a problem too with families. Like, she didn't always feel comfortable with my family. And I was like immersed in her family. And I like her family. I always have. Like her brothers, like her sister, like her parents, all of that stuff. So I didn't have much of my own. So I think my whole point, get to it, fucking Matthew. You're talking around everything. When I got divorced, I think I was scrambling a little bit to recreate or to have some sort of network of people that I felt that I wanted to spend time with. Certainly there I would call them surgeons who helped me out, the Patricks, the Peter Greens, who I would talk to about the mistakes that I made and therapizing, but that was different. So yeah.
I think that might be one of the healthiest instincts we might have. We might even share that at this table. Like, I think that because you had an instinct at the time to create a new tribe, and you were really like, you needed something. Like, you needed people in your life to help you with this next step. And I also think that, like, I feel like I've gotten to know you more post-divorce.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And it's because you pioneered this podcast. You also pioneered a friendship with me, actually. And you were like, hey, let's go on a walk. Let's go on a walk. Let's go on a walk. And then during those walks, you were like, I'm directing a show this summer. Do you want to do it? And I said no about 5 times. And then I
that may be
finally
that
did
may
it.
be generous. Maybe more than 5 times. I created a role for you. Yes.
And
No, yeah.
yes. So you had the instinct to make things happen, which is, I think, healthy and really great. I also feel like I've had that instinct a couple of times in my life. Like, when I was in college, we obviously went to the same school that was very large, and my sister went to the same school, and she was a senior when I was a freshman. So actually, the first couple of weekends, maybe even the first night or two that I was there, I hung out with her and her friends. If I didn't, I would have been alone in my dorm room. So I feel very fortunate that I had that. And through my sister's group, I connected with a girl that I also went to high school with. She and I were the same year, and we were not friends in high school. And then as soon as we got to college, we became friends, like almost instantly. It was very weird, because we were like, wait a minute, like, we were not a part of it. We just, our lives shifted, and then we needed each other. And then we also realized that we had a lot in common. So, that was the start of, that was one tribe. And then obviously, like, other things happened. Like, I joined an a cappella group, and then that became another tribe. And I've also been a very, like, group person in life. So, like, starting theater after, like, my gap year, like after college, before I traveled for a year. I made a tribe there when I traveled in New Zealand. And then I came home and I made a little tribe in theater. And then the theater tribes have also changed. And then, then I had a big, like, life upheaval change several years ago when I stopped drinking, and then I, like, started recovery, and then I had another tribe, and then the tribes within that have also changed.
I think too, since you have gotten sober, you've been much less passive in terms of the tribe, because of your very clear boundaries that you're setting for your life. I definitely feel like, even though I haven't gotten sober, although I don't drink,
it's different.
Yes, for sure. That I have been much more thoughtful about the people that I want to have in my life now than I ever have before. I think before there was just a desperation to not be alone, in some ways. And so,
It's so funny for me. I just feel like I haven't been good at it.
yeah.
Like I I didn't have this like just shifting from one tribe to the other. No, there were acquaintances, there were people I worked with, certainly. But like it wouldn't translate into people I could call up at 8 o'clock and be like, I am feeling like shit. I need to talk to someone. I couldn't make that sort of connection with any. It wouldn't naturally happen. And I
Yeah.
do think that it was on me. I do think that I just wasn't capable of being vulnerable with people enough, or just being like, I don't need other people, and not even in a sort of way, but just in the I've got my family. That's enough. I
Right.
don't really need anybody else.
Right.
Thank you for showing up, but I don't really need you.
Well, that's huge.
Yeah.
Family is huge.
It is, and it was huge. At that time in my life, I didn't think anything else was necessary, and only as I'm getting older and sort of learning about myself that I'm like, no, I do want to include other people as in my circle.
For me, obviously, family got turned upside down because, whatever. When my father died, I feel like a fucking broken record about this. I didn't know how to show vulnerability to my mother and my sister. Like my sister and I were clashing about certain things, about how we were grieving. One thing, my mother was unavailable in terms of her grief, and I didn't want to show vulnerability to her. So I was very on my own, and that kind of turned the whole dynamic of family upside down. It took a long time to right that ship, and I'm not even sure that ship was righted as well as I would have liked when my sister died. We were working towards things, but we were still struggling to connect on things that we didn't see eye to eye on. I think my mom and I are doing much better now, but like I didn't have that for so long. I had my closest friends didn't really know how to handle it. I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't have I couldn't find vulnerability in my family, and I think I drifted for a while, not really sure what to do, and that's where I met my ex-wife, I think, around that, where I just kind of stopped caring about a lot of things. So I feel, I've in so many ways, I feel bad for her because I don't think she ever saw a complete version of me, because I was so lost at the time.
Do you feel like you're a more complete version of yourself now?
I have to be.
That
I
wasn't the
have to
question.
be. Oh, ask it again.
Do you feel like instinctively, like if you really dig deep and kind of uncover this truth right now, do you feel like you are a more complete version of yourself?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm
leaving now.
Okay, good to see you.
you.
Thanks for stopping by.
Have a nice day.
I think that I don't have shame around vulnerability. I still have plenty of shame, but I don't have shame around vulnerability. And what had happened was I would never like cry around anybody. I always kind of push my feelings away, and now it just happens, and I can't control it. And all of that happened after my sister died. All of the mistakes that I made in terms of grieving really like just piled in on me, and I started to realize that I was losing myself. And then I made a really big decision to get divorced because I couldn't figure out a way to work through any of these problems, and I felt like I created such wounds and stuff that it just made sense to get away. And in getting away, I've been more dedicated to therapy. And in dedicating myself to therapy, I've become so much more aware and allowing a little bit more grace to myself, as opposed to roughing myself up for any little thing and hating myself and all of that bullshit that you've heard in many, 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 many episodes of the Last Will podcast. I also think this podcast has helped a huge amount of me just talking about it with my friends, and then getting feedback from people who are listening who didn't know any of this stuff was happening, and feel very seen by some of the things that some of the vulnerabilities that we share.
So happy that we have listeners.
We do. Not a lot, but we do.
But it's that same act of not carrying it all yourself, really.
Yes.
I mean, they are sort of like they're not as intimate as really a tribe, but they are a version of it. There's people that will listen to what you have to say instead of always feeling like, no, I can't. I need to handle this all myself, or I need to know how to do it right first before I tell anybody.
And in the end too, it's about it's a tribe of like being seen.
Yeah.
Like to me, I've really clarified the idea that feeling seen and being seen by the people who are closest to you, by the people who care about you, is really what I want more than anything in my life. And I hope that through all of this, my kids can not be so desperate to be seen, but just to always feel seen, I guess. I don't know. But like that's a huge thing for me. And so the podcast gives me an opportunity to show other people that they're being seen as well by maybe having some of the shared experiences and stuff like
I
that.
think learning how to be vulnerable is it's not easy. But I find that the only way that I've learned how to be vulnerable is by seeing other people be vulnerable and thinking like, oh, if they can do it, then I can do it. So somebody had to get vulnerable first, so that's somebody else could be.
Are we doing Adam and Eve? Is that what it is? Going all the way, or dinosaur? One dinosaur had to be vulnerable.
Well,
and the other dinosaur saw that they could be
I
vulnerable.
think I don't really know at what point it happened for me. Maybe there were just like phases of vulnerability, but like before I really needed therapy, I don't think I was vulnerable. I think, I was like, I remember knowing that therapy was a thing that existed and then thinking like, I don't need that right now because I think I'm okay with figuring things out on my own. And then when stuff happened and then I was puzzled by the fact that whatever I was going through, I didn't know how to fix. Then I did need therapy, and then I had working through that vulnerability. It's like I don't really know the metaphor for it, but it's like it's trying to break a dam.
Yeah, that's like breaking through. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And now I'm so vulnerable that like
I know.
I'll tell you anything.
Yeah, I know.
Really.
That's just we do it in front of microphones.
Yeah,
we just got
all
this
out
point
there
where
now.
it's all. I had that same thing with therapy. I was just talking to someone else about it today, and it took me a long time to accept it because I always thought like, well, I got my good friends, and if I really have a problem, why don't I talk to them instead of a fucking stranger who's just paid? Blah blah blah. Like all of that horse shit that we always tell ourselves. They're paid for a reason, so they can have an objective eye on what you're doing. And guess what? I'm sorry, but my friends weren't there for me when I needed them most. Part of it's my fault because I couldn't ask for help. But me as a friend, I won't wait. I will ask, and I guess I assumed I wanted that from my friends too, and they didn't. They weren't there for me to.
They were
talk
shitty
about
friends. Bye, people. I thought about this last night.
Yeah, that they were shitty friends.
Yeah, I was like, what? Who? Then they weren't friends.
Well, I think that there are people who are in it for the good times. Or what did I send you that thing?
Oh,
right,
that's
right?
why.
Yeah.
You sent me the nighttime friends or whatever. What is it called? The dark
the
time
darkest.
friends? The darkest hour friends.
Yes, is that what we're...
It's people who are there for you in your darkest hour.
Yes.
Those are the people that you need in your life. I have people like that, and then I have people who are not like that, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think once I recognized that there were people who were just in it for the good times, and not in it for the good and bad times. I think I've been I've allowed more grace in that. Mm-hmm. Those people before who were only in it for the good times, I just I don't know what to do with them.
What? Okay, so a little background. I'm keeping my eye on this car in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah. Is it delivering stuff?
No, there's a guy who took his son out of the car and left their dog in the car.
Oh.
I know I'm nervous about it. I think it's fine. Maybe they just had to go to the bathroom. Oh, maybe they're at the open house.
Maybe they cracked the window.
But why would they leave the dog in the... Oh, I guess
he almost went to let the dog out, but then he didn't. So anyway, I don't like that I know there's a dog in there. It makes a huge difference in my psyche at
Yeah,
the moment.
yeah,
Anyway, okay, so Lynnette recently reached out to me via email about getting together to be friends, which was so amazing. Timing could
that's
not
one
have
word for it.
No, timing could not have been better because I just moved like that week, I think, into my new apartment, and it's a new chapter in my life, and so it was great. Also, it's something that like I'm a little lazy when it comes to like making friends with people. Like I don't make that effort. I don't send the email or the text. I just hope that I will run into that person and then maybe we'll see. It's a little bit more like I'm happy sitting on the couch forgetting about the world outside. Anyway, so I get this email that I thought was spam for 1 minute because I was like,
Kind of was.
it came from Lynn.
Wait, you sent out a bunch of them?
It's like
Sent
a
out 12
forward.
emails.
The guy's getting back in the car with the dog. Okay, good. All right.
We're good.
That's
I'll breathe a sigh of
that's
relief,
over.
people.
Whew.
That story had a
so-
beginning, middle, and an end.
Yes. So she sent me the email. I thought it was spam because it came from Lynn R. That was the title from the recipient, which I was like, okay, this could be like a recruiter. It could be.
I am recruiting.
Well, the recruiters, they sound innocuous.
No, and they have gotten very good at like making their subject line seem like, could this be a thing?
Yeah.
Like, so when I mass delete things, I'm like, well, I'll just come back and check this one just in case.
Like my mom has actually gotten texts from random people that say, "Hey, I'm lonely.
What are you wearing?
Do you want to be friends?" Like, I mean,
I've always wondered, you honestly, what do you expect me to... Hi, this is my address. Come on over. Like, how do you think that text message is going to end? To the people sending it, I mean.
unfortunately, it only ends in murder. So
Honestly, I'm like, what?
I can tell you.
It's just an interesting shot in the dark that they
Yeah,
made
yeah,
there.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
how do you think I'm going to
Well,
respond to
But
that?
I
because-
guess if you send it out to 100,000 people,
You're
One
gonna get
person's gonna
you're
say
gonna
yes?
get one
It's
person
sending an
that's sad
address.
and lonely.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
for sure. Anyway, so
Sad,
I got
lonely, and
this
dead.
email and I had to read it all the way through.
super lonely now.
And then I realized who it was from, and then I was like, "Oh my god, this is so exciting!" And so my question after all of that fucking
Dog and car thing.
what? No, what's the beginning of
Rigmarole?
the exposition?
There you go.
Exposition. What brought you to this? This was a vulnerability. You made yourself vulnerable to the right person, actually. But what
what was I
caused
thinking?
you to do that? And what? Because I think that's a grand effort.
I'm just going to say sometimes grief brings people together. And you guys both came to a funeral. You were at a funeral, and so you were just sharing your vulnerability.
Actually, that is what sparked this.
Yeah, I mean, it was because we did start having a conversation, and and I don't know, I just had that moment of like, here's someone in a similar chapter of mine who's in who is also an artist, who I don't know, like, why let that opportunity pass by? Like, I don't often find myself in a room with a 30-something-year-old female who is also an artist, who's also trying to figure herself out.
Right.
And I'm like, how cool, fellow traveler, that, you know, we're so close through Matt. The 1 degree separation, does that make it
Yeah,
one
yeah.
or two? One. That why not just take the opportunity? I don't know why. I just thought, here's one right in front of me, an opportunity right in front of me. Again, be intentional about who you want to have in your life. And I've recently, in the past 2 years, I connected with someone in this way. We did a show together, and she and I just kind of clicked, and we have slowly progressed to, we're really close friends now. But
Nice.
that was intentional. Had
Yeah,
I
yeah,
treated
yeah.
it like every other show I did, where it's like, cool, we get along now, see you in 2.5 years when we do the next show, even though we got along really well during this show, and then we lose the connection. And I honestly, side note, have no idea why that keeps happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for community theater, in my experience, it kind of sucks at really making it a community. We just kind of break off and come back for a show, and break off and come back for a show.
Yep.
And I don't know, I'm just at a point in my life where I'm like, no, I want to collect and see if things could have more staying power.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Cool, because I felt like a dork.
No, it was great, but also, like, I mean, it's a huge honor actually to be asked, and but also I'm like, I look at that effort and I'm like, I'm so glad that you did that because I would not have done that, and it's not because I didn't want to, it's because I don't always think of doing it that way. You know, I do actually, yes, it is the weird thing about doing a show and then being like, I'll see you around. And then I only see you around when we do the next show together. But there's definitely a ton of laziness on my part when it comes to reconnecting with people. And that's just, I think it's also because I've worked on having the satisfaction of being alone. That I also am like, and there are times, you know, there will be times coming up where I'm like, I don't want to be alone right now. As far as living alone, now that I do that. But there've only been a couple times. It's only been like really late at night that I'm like building something, or I'm like struggling with like a little project in my apartment that I'm like, who's awake right now? It's
Who
like
could I talk to?
11:30.
Yeah.
Forewarning, it won't be me.
It's usually Matt.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm up late usually, but yeah, I will. I mean, the phone is part of a problem in that sense too. Like sometimes
But you texted me the other night at like 9:30. You said, "What are you up to?"
Yeah,
Which I thought was great. And for a minute, I was like, "Wait a minute, what time is it? Is it early enough that he's asking to hang out?" And I'm like, "No, it's not. It's 9:30." Like he just wants to chat, which was great. I was doing my curtains, which I needed. It was nice to chat with somebody while I was doing my curtains.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, I have to. What I was going to say was like the phone can be a problem in the sense of sometimes it will make me feel lonely if there's nothing going on, you know, and it will be like a reminder of the feeling of loneliness of whatever the tribe is. With all of this talk, I feel very, certainly after the funeral, I feel very, very seen and loved and all of that. But like also there's so much time that I spend alone and have those moments where I who am I going to text late at night when I can't sleep. Obviously sometimes that's Grady, you know, because he's usually up at that. Yeah, that's a whole thing that I don't even know how to wrap my thoughts around at the moment. What I was going to say was I was going to be proud because I feel like you and I have always made an effurt with each other.
Who you're looking
Lynnette.
at? One of them. Okay, one of them. Sorry, is there somebody else here?
Look, I was looking at the boxes.
Which female voice are you talking about?
Lynnette. Because I always try to use her in shows for sure. But even outside of that, we would not go too long without texting. Maybe I'm wrong, but like every 3 or 4 months have dinner, or maybe it was like once a year, twice a year, but we're always connecting in some way. Like we never got rid of each other overall.
I wasn't good at that. I had a while where I didn't really text much.
No, but there was also a pandemic.
Yeah, and that
You know?
that really just would right back into the
I would
back
say
into the gate.
before Rocket Girl is when I started to see you pulling away.
Yeah.
You know.
Ironically, right? And then pandemic hit right after.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
after.
yeah.
And in fact, they were in production. They closed and it happened.
We got out of shaking people's hands after the show, which was a stupid tradition that New Canaan used to do all the time.
Yeah.
Because of that. But yeah, no, we closed, and then I don't know, it was a week, and then everything shut down. Yeah. But even when you're gone, I don't feel like you're that. Like I feel like I could text you at any point.
Oh, thank goodness.
You know, and
That's a relief to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that breaks my heart a little bit.
I didn't know that. I don't. People don't reach out to me. They
Really?
don't reach out to me. And again, I am aware that this is my problem.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm trying to be more open. But I don't get random haze from people. So that's that feeds into the
Some
the
people
news.
Yeah,
are
for sure.
I've noticed that there are some people who are the random hayers, and then not. I am not one of those people. And I wish that I was, because I think I would have better communication with a lot of people. And I only do it when I'm afraid that somebody's upset with me. Or if I realize that I didn't reply to somebody's message and then I forgot. And so I go back and I'm like, oh, you know, I want to stay in good standing with them. But I rely on the random hairs. I do. But I also fall into a dangerous trap of isolation.
Yeah.
And but because of and we could, like, this will be more of like an what are we doing?
Tangent.
Microphone, off microphone.
Discussion?
Conversation.
Yeah.
But about like the way that my life is now, I cannot isolate. Like I make sure that I do things every week to see people, so that I am not falling into that dangerous trap, because that I don't do things in moderation in my life. I only do things in extreme. I can, and what I try to avoid is extreme isolation, because I actually kind of like it. Like I crave a 3-month.
You want to hibernate for the
I
winter.
I want to disappear.
Yeah.
I really want to, like, no phone, no nothing.
Couple books, some murder docs, and and no contact.
But where
with the
you
world.
have murder docs, you also have internet, and
True.
And anyway, I know I wouldn't survive like 3 days with that. But it's a nice thought.
Yeah. What did we have gratitude for Netflix the other day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So gratitude for Netflix. She doesn't know about our thread. We
used to. I may have mentioned we used to every day. Myself, Claire, and Grady do highs, lows, and gratitude. And we were pretty good for a while.
We still do it.
Yes, but we're not. It used to be, if you didn't do it, you felt wrong. And now we will go a couple days, and now we will sometimes go. I
challenged us to do it for a week, and it was around Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I said, let's do a daily gratitude check-in for a week. And then we, and it was a highs of the day, a lows of the day, and then a gratitude. And then we just kept doing it. And it was actually, and now I kind of just give like a daily summary of, and I try to make it short, but like that, the check-in is, it's really, it's like
nice.
it's a connection to those two people. And although Grady is, he's there, we're on the same thread with him right now, even though he's kind of going through something and he's not always checking in with us. But I like to think that he's there reading the messages and he's able to see that we're still around.
I know he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely is. And because it's Star Wars Day, he definitely chimed in.
Oh,
sent us
sure.
Star Wars stuff today.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something really nice about the check-in, and I don't feel like if I miss it, it's genuinely because I have missed it. It's not because I thought there's no highs, there's no lows, there's no gratitude, because I felt
There's
that way
nothing.
many times. But every time I feel that way, then I know I have to reach out with something. I have to force myself to find something.
And you know what? Now that if it's like midnight and you didn't do it, I don't do it.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've been caught.
No, it's not caught. I just realized that there's.
I don't know why. I hate that I'm like that. I wish I just.
If you do it earlier though, then I'll do it like right away.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Oh yeah, because I do it sometimes. Like if I'm going to bed early
Yeah.
or whatever, I always do it like before bed. Or if someone does, if I'm going to bed. No, I don't know why I feel like it. Yeah, it is an end of day thing, but sometimes I feel like doing it. Oh, I remember one time I was traveling, so I was on the West Coast, and they were doing it East Coast time, so I'd get the text earlier in the day for me, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to reply until I'm going to bed. They're not going to get the message till like 3 in the morning.
It is a nighttime bed thing, for some reason. But like that's the most tribe-y thing that I do, for sure. Like, I have friends out in the periphery of things, people that I trust and all of that. But like, my tribe is pretty small. and I think it's the best tribe that I've had in my life. I've had much larger ones. That just
I don't think
just
tribes
didn't
need to
work.
be large.
But I thought that for a while.
3 people's fine.
Yeah.
2 isn't a tribe. It's just
Just
I
friends.
disagree.
2 is
What'd
a
you say?
tribe.
As long as you have your people.
Well, I have one friend now that we're very close, and we, we'll talk to each other late at night. Like if I call, she always calls me back, and vice versa. And it feels a little bit like a lifeline because she is the first person I think of calling, and I haven't had a friendship that close in a while. Like somebody who is like the first person I think of texting when anything happens,
Yeah.
So, but that is, that's just one other friend. So if she's not available, sometimes I feel like, oh no, who do I talk to right now?
Yeah.
So, and that I think is a little unhealthy. I mean, obviously, like, I love her. She's great. And we have a fun time together. But, like, also we don't see each other that often, like, or maybe like once a week-ish, which on a good week. But she's got a child. So, it's not like we can always see each other. But so we try to stay connected. And I think that connection is really important for us. And I think connection among humans is essential. But when... Sometimes I'm afraid that if she goes on vacation or whatever, I'm like, what am I going to do?
You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Yeah, because you'll be happy that she's on vacation, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. And she'll come back.
You could also send someone a dorky email and just be like, hey, do you want to meet up for dinner? You could also do that.
I think there's a precedent set for dorky emails going out and dinner.
Well,
I just recommend staying away from the calamari for 2 reasons. two reasons. One, it's going to pretend that it's spicy, and the spice is going to disappoint.
It is.
And second, it could be full of COVID. those are things.
Didn't COVID start from a fish in Wuhan?
Oh, dear.
I thought it was a bat.
Oh. Well, she did choose to email me and not text me, and I think she has my phone number now.
Correct.
Yeah, that's even more amazing.
It's even more dorky.
No, it's formal. It was a formal invitation. Basically, she sent you a Hogwarts letter.
She did.
Yeah, she said.
A text felt too like I was getting in her business. I was like, no, I can't.
Well,
I
sometimes
can't text someone.
I mean, also
Yeah, it was
the
very
email
formal.
could,
like an
email
email
could
is like
have been,
she could ignore this, pretend never,
Oh, okay. So there was a little bit of an out for you on that. Like if I didn't get it, and then I was like, oh, like I didn't see it. Maybe
Would
it
you have
went
brought
to
it
spam.
up if she
it's
didn't?
it's more like you could spend days before you check an email. A text seems like I need an answer now,
And
I'm like,
immediate,
no, I
yep.
don't need an answer now. Whenever you get a chance.
She had a plan.
I'm also a dork. I mean, that's just part of it.
She
welcome
said that
to
in
the
her
club.
email too,
Um,
which did indicate to me that it was not spam. She's like something dork, and
yeah,
then
they
like
wouldn't
a
dork
dork
it up.
emoji.
No.
What are, we're wrapping up pretty much. So what are some of the things that are necessary to have in somebody who you'd want in your tribe? This is going to sound, it probably won't be surprising to most people, but they have to match my sense of humor, or they have to get my sense of humor. I don't know why, but that's very important to me. I don't want to sit and explain my jokes.
Well, so
I
yeah,
wanna-
no,
I
and
wanna
intellectual humor too, like something that's not inappropriate.
We used to end this podcast with a fart noise. I don't know if you remember
That's
that.
true.
No, I like a good inappropriate. I want to. My tribe has to also be a good audience for me, and that doesn't mean that they have to laugh easy, but they have to. I want to make them laugh. That's part of like my love. Is that a love language? It's part of my love language, is to entertain. I'm the 6th or 7th. That's a new love language, so that's part of it.
What do you mean 6 or 7?
I don't know. What is it? They have like 5 love languages,
Oh.
Yes.
like acts of service and
Quality time,
Quality
physical
time.
touch,
yeah, good audience.
words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
That's the other one.
Okay.
Yeah. Must be interesting audience to entertain. That's mine. So that really is important to me. I don't want to
I understand that. I think mine ties into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is I want your undivided attention.
Okay.
I if we're going to be talking and the phone's going to be coming out, or like you're looking at something else, or you're just, not that, that you have to be like a puppy. But, I do appreciate someone that's like, this is my time with you, and that's it. I'm
Right.
carving it out for you. And I do that with my family too. Like sometimes I'll be even with cousins, and they're like having a conversation on the side, and it just shuts me off. Mm-hmm. It's like, you either want to be here or you don't. So that's
It makes
really
sense
big for me.
It makes sense a lot. And I just to clarify too, with you, it's not like you just want them to listen to you. It's just like you want to share each
Just
other's
be
attention.
here with me,
Absolutely. The sixth
And
love language.
that goes down with respect too, because I also try to give people what I want in return.
Right.
I also think at this point in my life, they need to value therapy. Mm-hmm. Like someone who just understands that therapy could be a valuable thing, whether they're in therapy or not. Just that they get that talking to someone, being able to open up that vulnerability. If you're struggling to communicate because something feels very like high emotional or something like that, you have the wherewithal or the tools given to you from therapy that you guys will be able to work. Because I've been hurt too many times with friendships that I went through a place where I didn't trust friends. Like where you could be my friend, but like you could also fucking leave any second. Things get hard, you're going to run for the hills, because that was my experience with it. So I want to know that someone values therapy so that if things get hard, they'll be able or want to be able to work it out.
Well, I think learning how to like be a good friend too is a thing. Like I've had to, that's something I've had to learn how to do. Like, because I'm a taker. I like to take things. I like to be entertained. I like getting presents. I like being taken care of. I also do like to take care of other people. And I do like to give presents, and I do like to entertain. So it's definitely a two-way street, but I need to know that I am receiving in order to give, I think. And in Matt, in our friendship, which I feel like I've learned how to be a better friend, hopefully. But by saying that, I mean like, sometimes I need to give when I don't know, when it's not prompted. Like maybe you're going through something, or maybe I haven't checked in with you in a while, and I'm like, in order to keep this friendship thriving, I'm gonna do something that I don't normally do, which is I'm gonna check in, or I'm going to try and offer something, whereas normally I might just let it die.
Yeah.
And I think having this project that we're doing, this podcast, is it actually does mean like, well, if I want to continue to, like, we have this project that we're working on. So in order to keep the project going, we have to maintain our friendship. And that has also like brought some like, instead of like watching somebody go through something and be like, oh, that really sucks for them, but I don't really know what to say, so I'm just gonna like let it ride out.
Yeah. And
maybe, like I'm trying to focus on like how can I be of service to this person?
Yeah.
And I think I'm using us as an example because I think that we've been maintaining this garden of friendship for a while, like actively, and you have been doing the same thing. So I'm trying to make more of a solid effort to participate. Whereas like there are other friendships that I have let die because I didn't do that.
I can tell you from my point of view, though, I feel that I felt that from you. I felt that reach out at certain points where it may have felt random from you, but like really spoke to me in those moments. Really made me feel cared for.
And Grady too says this when he says, he appreciates, because Grady checks in every now and then.
Yep.
And just to check in, like just to say hi. And I'm like, I really like that feeling, like when he does that. So if I can make somebody else feel that way, and he has said, like, even when you just check in to say hi, like that means so much.
Yeah. Like with all that he's going through, I'll just send him memes that I think represent him or something silly. And I may not even say something. And he'll always say that how much he appreciates that. Because that's what he can handle at the moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Lynnette, what about you? What was the question? There was the question at the top of this.
The question was, what are the things that you think you need in terms of adding people to your tribe? Like what are characteristics? And Lynnette said attention was the first thing that she said.
Yeah.
I said a good fart gag because, I'm immature.
Your humor.
Yeah,
You said they
it's
have to get you.
It's huge. It's a huge part of it for me, for sure. But I don't know. I think we learn. I think being aware of the idea of growing our tribes, of thinking about them as a foundation for how we're going about life, so that we're not isolated on an island. That awareness is a huge entry point of understanding. And I don't think I would have thought about what I need in that if we didn't start this conversation.
Hey, what about you, Claire?
I need so much attention. So much. I need.
But like I think our friendship works out well too, because I like to give attention.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I get Claire, and so it's.
I need people to get me. I need people to get me without trying so hard.
Yeah.
Or without me needing to show them so much. Like there are some people who just, okay, so like when I was growing up and like in school, in college, at summer camp, even sometimes in theater, I feel like the way was paved for me by my family or my older sister. And there have been few times, like maybe on like less than one hand, I can count the amount of times that I have paved the way for myself just by being me. Not by, oh, you're so-and-so's sister. You already have good standing, so we're going to trust you. Now, like there were times that I had to really prove who I was. And I don't like to make a solid. Sometimes if I try to make the effort to prove who I am, like I feel really awkward because I'd like talk too much or I say something maybe I didn't want to say. But sometimes by just showing people who I am. I mean, people used to think that I was like, I had like the resting bitch face in school. Like there was like a girl that I'm friends with now who, actually I'm not really as close with her anymore. But like when we became close, she was like, I always thought you hated me. And I'm like, I didn't hate anyone. She was like, but you'd always looked like you hated everyone. And I'm like, no, but that's just how I was.
That's my face.
I was just thinking, I'm always thinking about stuff.
God, that sounds familiar, doesn't it, Matt? I don't
And-
walk
I don't
around with a
have
big
it.
smile on my face all the freaking time.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. It's the glow in the eyes.
But like, just talk to me, and I'll be like, like you don't know who somebody is until you knock on their door.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always afraid to knock on people's doors. I don't like knocking on people's doors.
Well, there's a real like fear of rejection. I mean, I get that. There's so many things in my life that I haven't done based upon fear of being rejected, even though rejection isn't death.
No.
Also, I don't fucking like real social situations. Like my tribe, I want fucking come to the house, let's play games, that type of stuff. Or let's
There's
go to the
nothing wrong with
movies.
that.
Or if we're going to go out to dinner, let's go out to dinner. But I don't want to go to let's go to this party was never my thing. I just couldn't.
No.
I don't know how to make small talk. I'm
I'm
not
so
interested in
glad that our lives aren't like that anymore. Like we don't have to do those things.
Oh,
like the
yes.
game nights, I like, yes. I don't have to dress
I
up.
never went.
Well,
You never went out like to a party or to a game night?
No, I just didn't do those things.
Well, it's a good thing
Is
that
it?
now
Okay.
it's on tape and we know it and we can change those things.
okay.
We'll get
That's so
order
sad.
calamari and we'll come in and
Oh God.
Yeah, we have
No, I
game
mean,
nights now.
there was. I'm guessing from all the things that we said, there was a real draw to just go home for you.
Yeah. And just not feeling like I was going to be accepted as I was. So just don't go. Mm-hmm. On that happy note.
Well, also, if you are as close to your family, like they accept you for who you are, so maybe you don't feel like you need to make as much of an effort to be with other people because you are already understood by a huge tribe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just spitballing here.
No, it's so interesting, and the turmoil that we have in our own heads doesn't always match what other people are experiencing about you.
Yeah.
And that's always a good reminder, because I would have never, when I first met you, thought any of those things. You know, it's only since I've known you for so many years, and the millions of compliments that I've given you about who you are in your work that you just reject constantly in every single way has let me know that perhaps you and I don't see you the same way.
No one sees ourselves the same way.
I know, but like some of the stuff is like
Thank you, Claire.
Some of the stuff's really clear. You know?
I mean, I think I look like a roly-poly.
We don't know what that is, Claire. We don't know what that is.
All right, I'm going to show you an image.
Okay.
And you're going to be like, yeah, that kind of looks like
No, I know roly-poly. I mean,
Thanks
not
for
personally.
She's
listening.
not disagreeing, by the way.
No, you do not. There, let me make it clear.
All right, it's very, very clear. Claire does not look like a roly-poly.
See, she could say that as long as she wants, and I'm not going to believe it.
Well, I'm not going to record it. She can just continue to say it for the rest of the day, but I'm going to stop the podcast so that the listeners don't have to hear it. But Lynnette, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I was so excited to have you here.
Can she come back?
Yes, she can.
I'd love to come back. This is fun.
She is always welcome. I've always said that I would put Lynnette in any show that I did, because I've seen her up close on stage, and I think she's magnificent. And I just really enjoy having her in my life. And so to have her here to share in this, to have her here with you, means the world to me. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Claire, you got to say anything? You make a farty noise or something before we go? No, we'll leave that to Grady.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. So that's our episode. I hope you enjoyed our discussion into connections and growing tribe, and what it takes to be part of our lives, and reaching out, and passivity, and all of that fun stuff. Thank you to our guest, Lynnette Victoria. Leanie, having you on board is always fun. I think the world of you, and I know for a fact that you will not take the compliment that I just gave you. So, anyways, thank you for listening to the Last Will Podcast. If you like what you heard, rate, review, subscribe. It can be very, very helpful to us. Also, if you like what you heard, tell a friend, and tell a friend to tell a friend, and tell that friend to tell that friend to tell a friend. And then we'll have more listeners, and our tribe will grow. So, again, if you want to reach us, you can get us at The Last Will Podcast on Instagram, or Matt Young at thelastwillpodcast.com. Thanks for listening. Onward, forward.